Hey guys, welcome back to another week of the unnamed Cybertalk. Matt is MIA again. Not sure if he got lost in the woods last weekend or what, but
It's amazing how it's on his calendar, but he just doesn't see it.
It's a little known fact. I don't want to start rumors, but it has been implied that Matt can't read. So I don't want to.
Maybe we should type the date, the time backwards.
Yeah, I think Matt just didn't even realize with Monday being off that today was Thursday.
Yeah, that could be it too.
I can see that. He's got, he's juggling the kids around and doing things. So it is what it is. Anyway, Chris, we're in the green room. You were talking a little bit about some new Microsoft stuff. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been waiting for this stuff for a while. So Qualcomm and Microsoft are releasing in about 3 weeks new PCs. Not really business focused at first. It's gonna be more consumer focused, but new Surface products, new PCs from like Lenovo, Dell, things like that. They have Snapdragon processors in them, which if nobody knows what Snapdragon is, that's fine. They're taking the Mac approach and putting basically processors that were designed for phones in computers. They give more power to them, so they make them faster. These PCs, though, will do AI faster than any PC currently on the market, which brings us something called Microsoft Recall, which apparently people are kind of up in arms about from a privacy perspective. So what it's going to do is it's going to take screenshots every few seconds of your computer. It's going to encrypt them. It's going to store them locally. It doesn't store them in the cloud. It stores them locally of everything you're doing. It won't do things like Netflix or Prime Video or anything like that. Anything DRM protected, digital rights management protected, it won't record. But images, basically record everything else. Now you can block certain applications from being recorded. If you're using incognito mode on Chrome or Edge, those won't be recorded as well. But it's going to create a timeline on your PC for let's say 3 months.
Right.
And you'll be able to contextually search because these AI will be integrated on the PC. You'll be able to contextually search for something. So let's say you saw like a red bag and you can't remember when you saw it. You can go to the recall feature and type in red bag. So even though it was a picture, the AI is smart enough to analyze the pictures that were taken and go back and find it. And if it was on a website, maybe you saw it on a website, it'll bring back the screenshot of that website with the red bag on it.
That's crazy.
So you'd actually know where it was.
I'm all for it. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through looking for something that I was in, 2 months before, trying to find the site or a document. So I can see that being a benefit, but there's definitely a security risk. So
it's Google timeline for your browser.
Yeah,
it's Google timeline for your entire computer.
Yeah, it's basically for
right. Yeah. For what's on the desktop. Okay.
Yeah, for everything you touch and do and interact with throughout the day.
Now, is that Chris? Do we know if that's originally being rolled out as a home feature or a business feature?
It'll be a business feature eventually, but all the devices coming out in June are running Windows 11 Home.
Okay.
Lenovo has
an opt-in feature or an opt-out or opt-in feature?
I'm assuming I'm not sure. I'm assuming when you sign in for the first time with a Microsoft account, it probably asks you like what you want to turn on. It'll probably be in there. Right. You can turn it off. You can delete the snapshots whatever you want. You can add applications you do not want to be snapshotted in there as well.
You get a black section of the screen when that's up.
I'm just assuming if it's on the screen, it just doesn't take a picture of it because it's going to know it's running, right? So it's going to know it's running it, whatever.
I'm thinking through this. This opens up a whole can of worms from an e-discovery perspective later going on, and for both home users and businesses.
Imagine you're doing the whole discovery through a corporation, and now you're going to be like, we want access to your all snapshots pertaining to this case.
Yeah, but let's be real. There's going to be evidence on a PC anyway, so I think people are kind of blowing the privacy part out of control. like, yeah, if you just let it run for like a year and you're letting it snap everything and you're not using incognito mode when you're trying to watch your cat videos in the hub, then maybe you have a problem. But like, if
I'm also
you're
using Castillo on my cats.
if you're legitimately using your PC for like normal stuff, even if you get Windows 11 Pro and you're using it for work, if you're actually doing work on it, it should help you be more productive.
Sure, it's
Yes,
a tool.
there are privacy concerns. Yeah, there's privacy concerns. I'm assuming for admins, as we get into the business version, you're probably going to be able to control it like with policies via like Intune, or if you're on a domain, maybe group policy. You can be able to control it, and you can probably disable it if you want, or you can enable it and then set the snapshots to maybe only be like a week, 2 weeks. So you can be able to control like that aspect of it. For me, I think 3 months is a little long. Like if that's the default, because I would probably use it for probably the last couple weeks, and that'd be about all I'd want it for. Like, especially considering, because like if I'm working on something, important and stuff like that, I'm not going to probably one day remember something I saw on my computer 6 months ago, and I'm not going to know to search for it, right? So, it's all local. This does not get stored in the cloud. It's all local. It's encrypted. Obviously, if somebody installed a Trojan or a backdoor on your computer and they get access to it, they could probably get access to your recall. Understand that. But if they get that level of access anyway, they're going to have access to everything you're doing anyway. So
It's true.
Is it a privacy concern? Yes. Are people blowing this out of proportion a little bit? I kind of think so. Now, again,
it's more people are becoming aware of what we know, which is that once you have access into the computer, you have access into everything anyway.
Yeah, and like,
so if you don't have this feature already and you think, well, I'm dodging a bullet, you're really not.
No, this could be evidence for pretty much everything you're doing.
Well, I'm just saying from if somebody feels like, oh, if I get this feature, they're going to track me, I better stay on the old stuff. They can still get all that stuff on the old computer.
Maybe not the images of everything you're doing, but like, yeah, I mean, if you're browsing to certain websites, there's going to be crumbs, right? So, the other thing too I missed is if it's one-time images, like private images and like apps like WhatsApp or WhatsApp, they're not recorded as well. So we'll have to see what the total list is. You can add a website and not allow it to be taken. So like, let's say you use Chase or Bank of America, you can put in chase.com, bankofamerica.com, and it won't record those websites. So there's a little bit of a setup to it. There's a little bit of tweaking to it. Hopefully that feature is not turned on by default, because then it'll just blindly do whatever. But if it's something that you enable as a user and you understand how to use it and stuff like that, I can see how powerful that would be.
There could definitely be a benefit. And even from an employee point of view of an employer, you're switching somebody into a new position, and being able to have historical data from the person you took the position from, being able to retain that data, as America is aging out, you're losing a lot of high-end skilled people at the top end who are retiring, and there's nobody to take their places. So being able to get copies of that daily workflow is invaluable.
Well, it's only gonna be local, so I don't know how. I don't know what you can really. I don't know how much you'll really do.
It'd be interesting to see. Well, I'm talking about it on the end. As from a corporate point of view, I'm sure they're going to give centralized admins access to stuff like that.
I don't know. I think this is gonna be personal. I think it's personal to that user. So you'd have to be able to log it as that user.
We'll see. On the corporate side, I could see it being a little different.
Time's going to tell what happens here. And here's the other thing, like Chris, you mentioned that this is only on this feature really requires the advanced compute power to run the new AI engines on those new chips. So most of the PCs out there today aren't going to be able to run this effectively.
No, but
you gotta have the Snapdragon architecture.
So as you look at this, AI processing is measured in TOPS. You need at least 40 TOPS for Microsoft to allow this to run. The Qualcomm processors that are coming are 45. Intel has processors that are going to do at least 40 to 45 in the fall. So those they have a new processor coming that's going to be able to support this. This is going to be something that's going to expand a lot in the next 6 months. So something to be aware of. Being able to run local AI is really powerful and really cool. And it's going to change computing, the way that we do it, not just in the cloud, but locally.
Oh,
But
great. So I get it. So I'm going to have a nice local AI engine that a machine that I can do image changing on the fly. So I can be somebody else in my Zoom call.
basically, yeah, Photoshop's going to support it. Zoom's going to support it. Teams is going to support this stuff, so it can do that. You should be able to blur your background a lot better because the AI, the NPU is what they call it, neural processing unit, is going to be able to be dedicated to doing stuff like that. It's gonna be really powerful. And these PCs too are going to get like a legitimate like 13 to 15 hours of battery life unless you're doing something crazy. So this is like all day, probably into the next day working, just like the
Yeah,
battery
no,
performance you get on a MacBook. It's gonna be great.
they're the M1 competitors right now.
Yeah,
The
they're
M
faster.
chip.
They're faster than M3, but they're not faster than M3 Pro. If you're an Apple person, so. But it's gonna bring a new level of computing. It's gonna bring a new level of like battery life and things like that. So I'm excited. It'd be interesting to see how this recall feature works. Like I said, it's mostly the home PCs right now. Lenovo has a Windows Pro coming in, and I think the Dell XPS 13 that supports this can get Windows Pro too. So it's gonna be in business sooner than we realize. So it's something we need to think about from a business perspective of how we're gonna manage it.
Well, yeah, it's going to be in the business, but we see a lot of these micro businesses that go to Best Buy or Costco to go buy a PC. So they're going to have it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, and if you don't block out QuickBooks and you're doing QuickBooks work on it, guess what?
Oh wow. Yeah.
All those financial statements are going to be taken pictures of, so you got to be careful. Yep.
Yeah. Online banking.
Yeah.
You're not going to go in incognito mode when you're going into your bank account.
I do.
Well, not the average Joe.
What about the Hub and Cat videos?
Well, hey, those are watched in a dark room in a bunker.
Just remember incognito. Well, Google got sued for incognito mode though and lost because they were still tracking people. So incognito turned out wasn't incognito.
Really wasn't. The only one that wasn't tracking was you, but wasn't recording your history. Google was keeping track.
So I'm taking a look at a top 10. Actually, it's a top 7 list of things you didn't know about Microsoft Recall. Right. And during the setup, during that initial PC setup, you do get an option to turn it on and off. And like you said, everything is stored locally. The snapshot folder is encrypted. Yep. And as you said, you can specify certain apps, you can delete it. But number 6 on the list, your IT staff has ultimate control over recall. So there are group policies and mobile device management settings to disable the feature.
Mark the time and date. I was right.
Yep.
No, they can manage it. They can't view the data. That's the difference. So
for that one,
yeah. They can just manage like how big I think the default's like 10% of your drive. So
yeah, it's probably like tech. So that's going to be another. We already have a section of your drive being taken over by paging, and now you got another section by the.
You need at least 50 gigabytes free to enable it, and snapshots automatically pause once there's less than 25 gigs. So you still need 50 gigs off the rip. So that's it's quite a few.
Yeah.
So the security on here says the snapshot folder is encrypted for the individual user. Microsoft says it can access or view the snapshots, but that doesn't mean your IT team can't.
Well,
anyway, time will tell.
Somebody will probably have to write a piece of software though too, because like. Well, one thing I don't know is, do they use a different BitLocker key than what's encrypted for the drive to encrypt the recall? That's an interesting question to answer too.
I don't imagine local user remembering their BitLocker key. If they're not using Azure services to store that key, and I'm going to ask them to remember to have 2 keys on hand.
Well, it's stored in your Microsoft account, whether it's a personal. If you have a Microsoft account for personal or business,
it should be automatically stored.
It's stored in both. Yeah.
So the one thing that's not clear, Chris, is it screenshot? Is it a VCR recording of what's going on? Is it just screenshots?
It's pictures, and so the AI can read the pictures and read what is on there.
So if you're typing in a password and unmask it, your password's now in the searchable via the AI.
Definitely.
Yeah, unless you put that website as one that doesn't get recorded. Yep.
Right. Anyway, it's going to be some interesting things to look at. Like you said,
Yeah.
when the computing power is getting more and more, we can do more and more on the desktop. And
One other thought I wanted to circle real quick back to Chris on was,
Sure.
we're talking about, is it just what you're browsing on the web, or is it all the documents you're going to be opening up?
Anything on your screen.
on your screen.
So anything. So you're an attorney, you're opening up client files, accountant, and somebody else's records. All of that's going to be stored on your computer.
Yep. Yeah, but you could put like Word or something to be excluded from that, or Excel, and it wouldn't record it then.
Word perfect.
Word perfect.
I was using Word perfect.
Lawyers.
Lawyers, and I've
ran across a couple.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's wrap it up for this week, and now we've give people something to look forward to when they buy that new PC for Christmas time this year.
Christmas time or back to school.
Back to school time.
June 18th is when they launch. So,
dude, you're getting a Dell.
Look at it, and then this fall it's really going to hit. Like I said, Intel's going to have their processor out that's going to support it. AMD probably will too. It's really going to be a flood, so you're going to see more and more of these features. And it's going to be fun. It's a fun time.
Cool.
So,
and I will see you guys all next week. Hopefully, we'll see Matt, and
we'll
have
find
a great
him.
week, guys.
Have a good week, guys.
Take care.
Appreciate it.